remember it was February of 1986, and I was on a trip with my mom to Europe. Every February, she brought over students on a trip to Europe. And what I remember of this one was more our return. We were in Newark Airport, and right after we landed, all of the airports on the eastern coast of the United States shut down. Major thunder and lightning storms. Planes couldn't take off. And they were expected to last through the whole night. So basically, eastern seaboard just shut down. And my mom was at Newark Airport with about 54 students, another 10 adults. And we weren't going to be put up at a hotel because the airlines didn't have to help us because this was considered an act of God. So it wasn't their responsibility to take care of anyone. And so my mom quickly, first she tried to work through, see if there was any way we could get home to another airport, a little bit away from the coast, or what we might be able to do. And there was just nothing we could do. And so we knew we were stuck there until the morning. And what amazed me was how my mom handled the whole situation. She didn't get upset. She didn't panic. She just understood, all right, this is the situation. Let's figure out what we're going to do. And she sort of set up different people to do different things. Some of the people went to get food out of the stores or the restaurants before they closed, make sure we have food and drink through the night. We kind of started walking through the airport and find areas to sort of stake out as our own, so we'd have a place to be able to lay down. Not really sleep that well, but at least relax and try to be all together, and sort of make sure everyone had paired up with someone, so no one could just sort of wander off by themselves. Everyone had to be with at least one other person, and my mom organized what those groups looked like, and then we were there until the morning. And what was really neat was really everyone kind of understood it was no one's fault. There was nothing the airlines could do. No one really complained, and we just made it through the night. How we deal with crisis situations really sort of talks about our own personality, but also it's a question of where we place our trust in the Lord. And I really do believe that. My mom placed a lot of trust in God that things will just simply work out. In a lot of ways, if you think about poor Mary and Joseph, if two people had a right to sort of panic in everything that happened to them, they did. First, Mary and Joseph get the news that Mary's going to be pregnant by God. And the amazing thing is they both kind of just take it in stride. Then, as Mary is pregnant, they discover they've got to go to Bethlehem. Now Mary's pregnant, and she's got to get to Bethlehem. Remember, there are no cars, there's no airplanes, even the roads are not what we would even really consider a road today. But they get there. And through that whole process, they don't panic. And then they get to Bethlehem and they're basically told, oh, sorry, no place to put you up. Well, you can sleep in this stable if you want. And that's where Mary ends up giving birth. But it doesn't end there. They're told, Joseph, in a dream, that, oh, by the way, you need to get out of here as soon as possible because, well, Herod's going to try to kill your son. So again, they move. No panic. They just go off to Egypt. And then, when it's time to return, they're told, well, probably not the best time to turn right now to the Jerusalem area. Go up to Nazareth. Through this whole time period of Jesus' early life, when so much is at stake, it would have been very easy for Mary and Joseph to panic. And yet, they didn't. Why? Simply put, they trusted in the Lord. They didn't necessarily know everything that was going to happen. It's kind of like Abraham when God called him out of the land of Ur to go to this place where he had no idea where it was. But he left anyway. Moses being sent to free his people. God asks many times these impossible things, and yet Mary and Joseph learned from their faith that God would provide. They didn't know how, but from the example of Abraham and Moses and so many others before them, they simply trusted that God would provide. And ultimately, that is our hope in Christmas, in the Christmas season. It is simply that reminder to us each year that no matter what we do, God is there to save us. God is there to help us. God is there to get us through. That's what the coming of Christ reminds us of. Because remember, why did Jesus come? He came to die. He came to save us from our sins. He came to help us to have that real relationship with God. So at times, situations may be overwhelming. And we might not be sure how to handle it. We simply have to remember the lesson that Mary and Joseph knew so well. The lesson my mom understood. There's no reason to be overwhelmed by the situation. There's no reason to panic about what might happen. We simply trust in the promise that God is with us. And trust in the truth and the reality that He will always provide what we need. That is the true gift and message of Christmas. God bless.